What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Okay, we're doing it. So, if you guys, many of you might be aware, but for those who aren't, Trustee Kianna Belcher and newly elected and appointed Trustee Stephanie Wiedeman did an interview with the David Seaton show. Now, this is WVON, the radio station that hired the Barney the dinosaur, Cleo Draper, that steals signs for fun, to do a squabble with Super Stupid. And that thing went so bad, it was so disastrous. And I guess they figured, you know what, if we're going to go extraordinarily biased on one side, might as well just balance that out and get someone else to come in and interview, a couple of the trustees. And so I think this was a great matchup. And I watched this video already. This is from Grace Levy's channel. So make sure you guys go over there and check it out. She has a really good, clean version video of this show here with an actual interview being done. So one of the things I would have liked for him to ask is more about the policies and some of the things that they would like to try to, implement and put in place. But I've already asked about Jason House platform. And I challenge anyone that has, something that he can share about his platform and what his goals are and what he would like to do. Ideas about how he's going to get Dalton out of this huge ass deficit that Super Stupid caused, other than just suing her ass for it. But, I welcome that. You guys, if you have any information on his platform and some of the policies that Jason House and his ballot, his ticket of people who's going to be serving on the administration, what they want to do and what they're trying to achieve, please send it my way. Email it to me at LadyLuckClubLLC@yahoo.com. I'm always interested in knowing that, because those policies and the decisions that are made are going to affect your everyday life. And I always, challenge you all in Dalton and in Thornton to continue to hold your leaders accountable. Hold the public officials that you elected accountable, and make sure that they live up to what they said they would do within reason. I mean, don't have any expectations that would be unrealistic, nor should they have a platform that would be unrealistic and unattainable. But if it's within reason, and if it's not something that just would take heaven and earth to get done, then hold them accountable to ensure that they get it done. And this, hopefully will, this change and shift in administration will improve the quality of you guys' lives up there. So that's what matters the most. And so we have this interview. If we did that god awful, I finally reacted to that squabble between the two chicken heads. It was just terrible. And oh man, even the part where she tried to compare Super Stupid, tried to compare herself to Jesus Christ. I got chills down my arms and my back. Like, I felt myself saying to God, please don't punish the entire planet and all of humanity for Dom Dom who wants more Gom Gom. That is on her. Please just punish her individually, and that's it. Leave the rest of us out of that, because we didn't ask for this. No one asked for Super Stupid Tiffany Hinyard to exist on Earth, or to go on a radio station to have a squabble with another chickenhead who steals signs, and to sit here and to try to compare herself to Jesus Christ. First of all, if you really think you're supposed to be a Christian, so of course you're a hypocrite. But if you really think that Jesus' life and the promise he fulfilled in granting salvation through his death on the cross was something that we did, you are sadly mistaken. You obviously don't know how a fulfilled promise and what it means to have purpose in your life to be fulfilled, what that means or what that looks like. Jesus could have gotten down off that cross if he wanted to. He turned water into wine. He healed lepers. He healed people who were sick, raised people from the dead. You don't think he could have just gotten off the cross? He's the Son of God. What's wrong with you? That was purpose being fulfilled with him dying on that cross. In order for you to understand, or those out there who choose to have faith and understand, in the power that act of sacrifice displays in him being the Son of God. So if you don't believe in the Bible, then just get on somewhere. Stop pretending with it, because you're playing around too much and you're comparing yourself to Jesus Christ. Nobody's crucifying you, idiot. And you wouldn't even take a 5-minute walk for someone, let alone get on a cross and die for someone. You're not going to ever do that. So don't ever compare yourself to Jesus. Don't do that. And if God decides to get anybody back, I hope he just gets you and leave the rest of us out of it. Let the earth open up and swallow your ass in. And then we all just keep living. Anyway, we're going to do this interview. We're going to check it out. And, because I just need something to balance out all that buffoonery from those two, from the reaction I did last night. It was hard to watch after a while. So let's get to it. David Seaton show with Kianna Belcher, Stephanie Wiedeman, and Dr. Nikita Nietzsche. I've never heard of her, so I'm sure you guys will give me some info on her if you have it. All right.
Welcome back, everybody, to the David Seaton Show. I'm really excited about this particular segment. We wanted to give an update on what is going on in the village of Dalton. We've got some breaking news. I've got joining us on the live line, we have Trustee Kianna Belcher, who is joining us. Trustee Belcher, thank you for joining us on the David Seaton Show.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me.
No, not at all. So kind of give us an update. There's been so much drama going on even now between the trustees and Mayor Henyard, and people are not showing up to, she's accusing trustees of not showing up to meetings, so they can't have a quorum. So she's placing the blame squarely on the trustees and accusing the trustees of standing in the way of the village of Dalton getting their business done. What's your position on what's going on in the village of Dalton?
First, David, I'd like to say thank you. What is happening is people are getting first confused. The issue that she is having with the township trustees is not them not coming to meetings. That's not the village of Dalton trustees.
Okay.
So there's two separate entities with one common problem, which is her.
Yep.
And it's sad because Thornton Township, which consists of 17 municipalities, which Dalton is included in one of those 17 municipalities, there's a lot of chaos. And there's trouble, financial troubles, FBI subpoenas have come out, have been issued, and a lot of mismanagement of government at this point. It's been 3.5 years, and anybody that has been following Dalton at first will see that there have been 4 and 5, because we've also won during a re-election cycle, 5 trustees that have been working diligently against this chaos.
So let me ask you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's a problem because you're just going in and out, and so it's a little bit of a delay. So let me ask you this. Tiffany Henyard is saying that all of the financial malfeasance, all of the mismanagement, she's saying, hey, I'm not even in control of any of that. That's the trustees who are responsible for everything that's going on as far as the budget being upside down. And when she came in, when she got elected as mayor, the village of Dalton had a surplus of something like $2.3 to $3 million. Now you have a deficit of 5. So, while she's being mayor, we've seen the village go upside down about $6 to $7 million. But she's blaming that on the trustees. Go ahead and tell our listeners from your perspective as a trustee, who's really responsible for the mismanagement that's going on in the village?
The mayor and the mayor's administration. The trustees are the legislative branch, and they also oversee the finances. And when I say oversee it, yes, we are the people that approve a budget, but those budgets are line item by the department heads. And we go through what's coming in, what's going out. We got to a point where we were not receiving any financials. And if you even follow the Lori Lightfoot, where the spending of money of the administration, who's hired by the mayor because she has not been following any ordinances, those are spending of the administration. The trustees don't have a credit card. The trustees don't go out into any contracts with anyone. So when that lie is being told, because that's what it is, it's a blatant lie. When that lie is being told, there's always, both sides. The trustees don't have any power to say, hey, I want you to come and do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to just get the invoice and send it. It doesn't work like that. So the mismanagement of funds.
And she's absolutely correct. I've said several times in many videos that there are 3 separate but co-equal branches of power, right? You have that executive, which is sort of that mayoral position. And then you have the legislative, which is the board of trustees. And then you have the judicial, and that's the courts. And she can't touch the courts. And she tries to control and dictate the legislative. And at the end of the day, she picks and chooses when she wants to be a mayor. She's a 1/3 representation of government. But overall, what happens in that town hall, the decisions that are made, the budgets that are passed, and how the money is spent, it still falls underneath her as the mayor. So you can't pick and choose when you want to be a mayor and have power. You got to pick you got to be the mayor when it's good and bad, because you're the one that's sitting around here spending $40,000 on Amazon and not showing a damn itemized invoice, or going on Wayfair, spending God knows how much with that, and still not showing an itemized invoice. It's not enough to just have the warrant list where you have a journal line entry for $40,000 or $30,000 or $10,000 missing, going to a merchant or to a vendor somewhere, and you don't have an invoice to accompany that to actually show what was purchased or the services that are being covered and paid for. If it's from a vendor, if they're making signs and banners that you still haven't paid for yet, that stuff has, that invoice will have a line by line, journal entry expense to show what it is. So it's not going to just say 25 banners. It's going to have banners. It's going to have ink. It's going to have, if there's a sub-consultant in that, they're going to be listed. If labor, it's going to have everything that this money is going towards on an individual line item. That's in the invoice. That's what people want to see. You saying $40,000 was spent on Amazon for ice, no one believes you. No one is going to trust anything you say. And she's the one that is responsible for making sure that this information, financial disclosures, all of that is put up. FOIA requests are addressed. That falls underneath her purview. So yes, she is ultimately responsible in making sure it gets done. But the fact that she feels like I can just pick and choose when I want to be a mayor, and pick and choose when I want to hear and dictate, and pick and choose when I want to make decisions, or when it's my fault versus not. God, grow the hell up, super stupid. Grow up. Grow up. Grow up. That comes with the territory. You don't like it? Then guess what? You will be voted out, and then you don't have to worry about doing it again. I think we can all agree on that. Let the church say amen. Type amen in the comments. Amen.
Throughout the course of these almost 4 years, where this balance has been from the $5 million surplus to $3 million, over that span of time, almost $9 million. If you look at it, because it's all that you spent, and then you went into the hole. So,
but you just said something, Trustee Belcher, you just said something really, really important. You said that the trustees, you are the legislative branch, and that the mayor is the executive branch. You said that the legislative branch, you appropriate the money, but when the checks actually have to be written, those checks and those payments are coming out of the executive branch. So that is under the control, direct control, and sole control of the mayor. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Yep. So it begs the question. For those of you out there who are listening, I want you to just listen to what the trustee just said. The trustees are like Congress, and the mayor is the executive. So that's like the president. So the trustees, as the legislative branch, they go and they pass a budget and say, hey, the village, we're going to approve the village to spend X amount of dollars. But when the checks are actually written, the checks are not written by the trustees. That is under control of the executive branch. So if you're looking at money that's being spent, and let me just put a finer point on it, Trustee Belcher. The other issue, because I haven't read Lori Lightfoot's report, but I do know this from the reporting over the years, that a lot of what's happening is that when the trustees meet, you're getting a lot of invoices for expenses that you never approved. Again, that can only be executed by the mayor. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That is absolutely correct. We had an example, and I'll just give one example because there's so many, where one of the vendors contacted us and said that she approved a $2.8 million she got an estimate for $2.8 million to cut trees, and he proceeded to start cutting these trees with $2.8 million estimate when it was only $400,000 budgeted in the budget for tree cutting. So those are the type of
wait. I have to have you repeat that because I want people to hear that. You're saying that the trustees of the Village of Dalton appropriated in their budget $400,000 for tree trimming services, but when you actually got the invoice that the mayor executed, you got an invoice for $2.8 million?
Well, we received a copy of the estimate after we started getting all these invoices, which started way exceeding $400,000. So we started taking it off of the warrant list, which is something, we get the list for approval. So he didn't make it to the $2.8 million, of course, because we didn't have that type of funds, but he had proceeded to start working under the assumption that he would be getting $2.8 million for all his tree trimming.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Trustee Belcher. If you give me an invoice for $2.8 million for tree trimming, guess what? I'll start tomorrow. A tree trimming service. How many people? What's the approximate the population of Dalton?
About 21,360, I believe.
So just to break that down, 2.8 million divided by $21,360. She's asking every resident to pay approximately $131 to get. It's not even that $2.8 million worth of trees in Dalton. But hold on. So I'm going to take our first break. Everybody, don't go anywhere. You're listening to the David Seaton Show. We've got some more breaking news that happened today, and we've got some other guests. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the David Seaton Show. We'll be right back.
More from David Seaton coming up.
Dr. Nikita, thank you for joining us today. You have an update on some news that just broke about Mayor Henyard.
Hey, David, how are you?
I am well, thank you, and welcome back to the show.
Oh, yeah. No, wonderful. It's always a pleasure. You're absolutely one of the best. So today, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is facing one charge of criminal contempt due to the fact that she was trying to shake down a business owner in Dalton, and she refused to give them their business license and their liquor license. So today, after months, actually almost a year, because it was since May of 2024, she's been refusing to give them the necessary paperwork to open after they spent over $6 million.
Wait, say that. Say that last part about the $6 million.
They spent $6 million to date to build this building, put it together, a restaurant, a multi-level restaurant, Black-owned steakhouse.
Yes.
It was absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And they've been fighting Ms. Henyard for almost a year to get their proper licensing just to open.
This is so crazy.
And guess what? Today, the judge saw it their way, and they found Henyard in criminal contempt at court today.
So what does that mean? What's going to be the ramifications of that judicial finding?
Jail.
Well, they got their license. They made her sign them on the spot. The judge made her sign them on the spot. But her attorney has 14 days to file an appearance to try to, say, hey, why shouldn't they put her in jail, or why shouldn't they find her?
They need to lock her up.
So that's my question, is that one of the ramifications that Mayor Henyard one of the sanctions might be jail time?
Yeah, one of them sanctions might be jail time. So I actually have Ms. Kamara. Yeah. So
here's the thing. I think that the judge should lock her up for a good 30 days. At minimum, 30 days. Because technically the judge could sanction the attorney as well, which he needs a monetary sanction. Max Solomon needs to stop playing around. I did it. I added the video of the clip of what happened with the hearing, and Max Solomon gets on TV. It's in the video I did on the criminal contempt. I just posted that earlier this morning, rather. The indirect criminal contempt charge video. And this man gets in the video. He's a whole ass attorney now, and says that it was an issue with the address on the license. First of all, this lawsuit has been pending with the courts since last year, November. And she was told then to sign the license permits. And I think it was 3. She did 2 out of 3. I don't know what's going on with the third. But if they're sitting here saying the only issue is it was a naming or something with the name on the license, and that's why she didn't sign it, you would think as an attorney, a bar licensed attorney, his dumb ass would sit here and file something to the court to say that, and to show we've tried to reach out to the people to get them to correct their name, and they're not responding or what have you, but this is what's going on. Here are email trails and proof that I've tried to contact them to tell them to correct the name. Mind you, he hasn't been on this case the whole time. So for him to be going this hard and heavy on this, and you're sitting here explaining something so stupid and minuscule that could have easily been handled last year. It's not justifiable to keep her from being punished with the criminal contempt charge. Because you're talking about an issue that could have been expressed months ago. And you being the attorney, regardless of when you came on, the first thing you should have done was let me reach out to them and tell them to please correct the name. Here's how to do it, or what have you. That lady had an attorney. If you would have contacted Max Solomon, if you would have contacted the opposing counsel and told them, my client has not signed it because of the naming issue, can we get together and arbitrate and work this out? And then we will have, I will have my client sign it. It's as simple as that. I think her attorney would have been more than willing to work with you on it because you guys are playing games. And then she brings her dumb ass to court. This heifer walks in 30 minutes late and then goes slow trolling down the aisle, I guess, in the courtroom. Like this ain't, to her, she don't give a damn no more. She just don't give a shit. That's an insult to that judge. But no, keep on. Max Solomon needs to be sanctioned as well because of the conduct of his client. Because the conduct is super stupid in the courtroom. There's more than enough argument to say why this should be a direct criminal contempt and not an indirect criminal contempt. She literally disrespected the judge and defied the judge in the courtroom when he told her to sign. And then it wasn't until he said, I'm going to hold you in contempt. Because she thinks she's untouchable. She thinks being a mayor will just protect her from going to jail. That's not how it works. You can go to jail and be a mayor. Or a supervisor. You're not the president of the United States. God, if you don't go get your ass somewhere to sit down. And Max Solomon ain't any better. This is why he needs to be sanctioned. This is why. He's making buffoonery decisions and showing his incompetence on every single level in every single case he seems to want to represent. Just incompetent after just incompetent decisions being made. And he chooses to do that. He still chooses to represent her against all odds in this nonsense and buffoonery. I wouldn't even want to touch half that shit she got involved in because she thinks she's a dictator. I wouldn't even want to be bothered with that and represent her on all those matters. For what? So no, when she goes to jail next week, which I'm hoping and praying for, because that's what needs to happen. Hopefully he gets his ass sanctioned as well. He's already been severely reprimanded. I mean, it's only so many times judges are going to just keep fussing at you until they say, you know what, we've had enough of this nonsense with you and your dumb client. We're not going to keep doing this. We're going to sanction the both of you. She's going to jail. You're going to have to pay X number of dollars. Plus, they already got to pay the attorney's fees. They're going to have to pay the attorney's fees for the Dalton Park District case and the attorney's fees for this particular case regarding this licensing issue that she could have signed last year, November, that she was told to sign by a deadline. Stop playing with the courts. They're not for play, little girl. You want to keep going on your own with this, then enjoy not seeing your child for 30 days. Go to jail. Don't make us have to collect your ass. That's it. They're gonna say client can turn us up in and we can just take out now. You know what? Take out now. I don't want the judge to go soft on her for even 2 minutes. Have her ass collected right then and there while she in court. And take her back. Okay, well, she's going back to the jail. She's going to Cook County Jail today. She's going to Cook County Jail today. And she's going to be there for 30 days. And no, she's not getting out. She got to serve all 30. Not giving her no early release on good behavior. None of that she's not going to stop being the asshole she is. So, nope. You're sitting there for 30 days. Bye. You'll learn to follow a court order. Because she should have been held in contempt over the injunction. Trying to hire and fire people against the judge's order with the injunction. She keeps listening, whoever she's listening to, whatever voice in her head, or just, Keith the Hamburglar or Michael Smith, who still knows nothing. They telling her all this shit. Y'all get her effed up, and they should get effed up right along with her. I'm still waiting on Michael Smith to be summoned to court to tell the judge how he signed an injunction and that was somehow unlawful. I'm waiting on that legal argument. Please let that happen.
To talk to her as well.
Right, we've got Tiffany.
Lock her ass up.
She's the owner of that establishment you were just talking about. Thanks for joining us, Tiffany.
Hi, David. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No, we appreciate it. Tell our listeners, what feelings of vindication did you have when you had the judge force the mayor to finally sign off on you getting your permit to your business permit?
Like Dr. Nikita said, this has been ongoing, even in the court systems. Like you have to hold her accountable. And this morning, she finally was held accountable because her plan was to come into court again and postpone it as long as possible. This is the third court date in a week and a half that we've come trying to get the license signed. Every time she says she would sign it, she comes back with something else. You have to sign it before 5 o'clock. It never gets done. It never gets sent. And then we're back in court again. Finally, the judge started our way and made her sign it. And I'm hoping that we are able to open it.
So Tiffany, Dr. Nikita just said, with whom are you partnered around this particular business?
It's me and my husband.
Okay, and she said that Dr. Nikita just said that you've invested up to $6 million?
Actually, it's over $6 million. So this
Good
all
grief.
started. We already have a business in Dalton, and our plan was to build a new business here where Old Animal Hospital has been vacant for years, and nothing in the south suburbs. We don't have anything to go to. No restaurant. No community place where we can feel safe and have a good time. If the only place that we have to go to is downtown. There's nowhere in the south suburbs. There's nowhere in Indiana. So that was our vision. And this community needs this. People ask me, well, why would you come to Dalton? Well, why not Dalton? Why not to our own community?
Well, let me give you the
opportunity.
No, absolutely, and I applaud and I commend you and your husband because speaking as a business owner, when you're taking on millions of dollars of risk to open up a business, you're putting your own future. Are you and your husband? Do you have children?
We do.
So you've got small
got
children
kids.
at home, and you put it out. You put it all on the line to
Yep.
literally
Small children, they're all adults, so they have the grandkids. I have my parents. I take care of,
Yeah, but still, it's your money.
Now, let me give you an opportunity to respond to what Dr. Nikita just said, because she used a very specific word. She said that over the last year that the mayor was trying to shake you down. I want to give you the opportunity to actually respond to that and clarify that.
Well, I don't want to be specific here because everything is still
right. I understand. Say
everything.
Sure.
But I will say once we stopped donating, once all that happened, everything stopped. The communication stopped. Because we didn't just donate to her; we donated to both sides.
Okay.
We tried our best to stay out of the political eye.
Yeah.
Business owners. That's it. Okay. The only reason why the mayor was even involved because she is the mayor. She has to issue the permit. That has to happen. But we tried our best to stay out of the political fire.
I completely understand. Let me, Trustee Belcher. Is this something, listening to this story from, like I said, a fellow business owner, she and her husband have put a ton of money. They're trying to invest in the village of Dalton. Is there any conversation at the trustee level of taking away some of these responsibilities from the executive so that if you do have a mayor in the future who is either inefficacious or just morally bankrupt, that you don't have to have one person who can control what's going on? Because in some villages, in some cities, there's a specific individual who handles, issuing business licenses. It doesn't go to the mayor. Understandably, the village of Dalton is smaller, but are the trustees having conversations about how to rewrite the laws of the village so you don't have individuals who can take advantage of the citizens?
Well, most of these ordinances are already in place. We just have a person that don't follow the laws.
Wait. So you're saying that when Mayor Henyard was withholding this business license from Tiffany and her husband, you're saying she was doing it in contravention of ordinances that are on the books?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I'm absolutely saying that. And most of the time before Mayor Henyard was the mayor, which she sat on the board for 8 years, she knew how bringing businesses in front of the board or even in front of the community, because it affects everyone. And there's a process. We have a village administrator. The mayor in Dalton is a part-time position. So the village administrator handles a lot of things where the applications are taken in. Normally about April, it goes to the department where the business department, they look over and make sure everything is in order. And then it used to be a process where the mayor and the clerk were signing off on it. So it was two-part. Well, of course, when she came in, it's her way or the highway. And there are a lot of ordinances that are in place and she's just not following them.
So now that you have your business license signed off on, what's the ETA for you and your husband to have your open?
So we're looking for the Super Bowl day, which is a soft opening. That's the goal at this point.
Tiffany, congratulations to you and your husband. I've been covering this story for a while, and I've been telling people, just keep suing, keep turning her in.
Okay,
she won't be able to get away with this forever. I am so happy for you and your husband. And look,
thank you.
I guess I'm gonna have to come out. Look, I don't know if it's safe for me to come out to Dalton and visit your place. Tiffany she'll have the police looking for me. Tiffany, I appreciate it. Is there? Do you want to hang out for a minute? Is there any other information you want to share with our listeners?
No, that pretty much sums it up. The residents have been following it, so they know what's going on.
Tiffany, congratulations. What's the name of your steakhouse?
St. Patrick's Restaurant.
St. Patrick's Restaurant, everybody in Dalton, Illinois. Thank you, Tiffany. I'm going to shout that out to everybody in Dalton. Make sure you go to St. Patrick's Restaurant and Steakhouse. We're going to continue this conversation. We've still got Trustee Belcher on the line, and we're also waiting for one of the other trustees to call in. This is a really, really important story. I hate to see corruption, and I especially hate to see our people taking advantage of our people. We're going to take another quick break, everybody. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the David Seaton Show, and for those of you on Facebook in the room, share this with somebody in Dalton. They need to hear this. We'll be right back. And Trustee Belcher was informing us that she was found in contempt of court today, and Eric Beecham just posted on the Facebook wall that Mayor Henyard casually strutted into court today. Yeah, like she owned the courtroom. What's your feeling? Tell us what you're feeling about her being held in criminal contempt of court today.
Oh Lord, well, thank you.
I think that we all make decisions, and whatever the repercussions for those decisions are, we have to deal with. Laws are set forth for a reason, and when you choose not to follow them, there's repercussions.
Yep.
I was talking to Trustee Belcher earlier, and you're joining us. And she's, again, every time I read something about this mayor, and for those of you who are on Facebook, go to the David Seaton Show on YouTube. I've got a whole episode that I did on this mayor, and there's a lot of great content that you can check out, but you can definitely check out the one about Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Explain to me, because most people don't understand this. I remember talking about Mayor Henyard over a year ago, and people were very, very discouraged, and they were asking, how is this woman continuing to get away with this? What do we do? And I encouraged people. I said, hey, keep calling the FBI, keep calling the Attorney General's office, Kwame Raoul. Keep holding her feet to the fire, because the more people complain, the more she's going to be investigated. But explain to our listeners, especially the people of Dalton who are listening, is there no mechanism in place in the village of Dalton when you have an executive that is just running roughshod over every law and ordinance on the books? There's no mechanism that the trustees can invoke to rein her in or rein the mayor in?
Are you asking that of me? Or
yes, I'm asking. I was asking you. I'm sorry.
I do believe that there might be some
some things that the trustees could take hold of there. I'm not a trustee in the village. I am a newly elected trustee at the township.
Yes. I'm sorry. So you're with Thornton Township. I'm sorry. Okay.
Just the municipality rules and the township rules don't always look the same, so I can't fully answer that for you.
Is there any mechanism at the township, at the municipal level, that if the supervisor of the trustees is abusing the public trust, there's nothing that the trustees of the municipality of Thornton can do to rein that executive in, or to rein the supervisor in?
Yeah, there are some options. There's always a vote of no confidence. There have been a couple things that have been kind of set on the table that the trustees would be able to utilize. But again, this is not something that any of us have really been through before. So trying to figure out what the right path is would be the next step.
No, and I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad, just so that our listeners understand, we have a trustee from Thornton Township, and then we have Kianna Belcher, who is an actual Village of Dalton trustee. I'm completely sympathetic to the enormity of the task that both of you have had to try and navigate, and you, Stephanie, being a new trustee, because the acts of this mayor have been so brazen
and bold and just disgusting.
You probably have never had to even think of or even conceptualize of what types of rules you would have to put in place, because you've never seen this before. Kianna, what are your thoughts?
You're 100% right. I've been involved in politics for 20 years in Thornton Township, and this is definitely that it's probably a once-in-a-lifetime historical event.
I hope so. But I don't know. I fear that there's going to be some unscrupulous person who is going to run for this office in the future. They're going to see what this mayor, Tiffany Henyard, has gotten away with, and they're just going to be more emboldened. On the video that I did about her, when they did the caucus, when they did the caucus to get her off the ballot, and she was even brazen then. She was being interviewed by the local media saying, "No, I will be victorious." And she said, just like Trump got elected, I'm going to get reelected. I'm going to come in for the win.
Because she really thinks that she's an old white man.
Brazen. But let me back to you, Stephanie, as a new trustee for the municipality of Thornton, have you spoken to the other trustees? Is there an agenda to rein in Tiffany Henyard as supervisor? And did she get removed from that ballot as well? Can she even run again for supervisor of Thornton Township?
She cannot. She won't be on the ballot as a party. I think she has the opportunity to run as a write-in still.
Okay.
But I mean, we all know what a tough beat that is, especially with all the negative publicity.
Well, she says she's super mayor. Her people are going to show up for her.
Well, she could have proved that Tuesday when we had the annual town hall meeting for the residents to vote to fill the vacant seat that I just got elected to. But her people...
Mic drop. She said, well, she could have proved that on Tuesday when her so-called people were there to run for trustee. I just got elected too. I know that's right. Girl, talk your shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something. That, from my understanding, it was 2 or 3 other people nominated. One of them being, for sure, Carol Cook, I think. That's one of Super Stupid's little picks or whatnot. Yeah, no, that lady barely had about 40, maybe 50 people in there. Everybody else that was there, it was like 300-400 deep. If you look at I did a reaction on it last night, finally got to it, and the Lansing Journal has a fantastic video where they span out into the entire gym, and they do this 360 view, so you can see the enormity of the space and how many people were there. And it's just amazing. And then somebody had the audacity to count. One of the counters had said, "Oh, I counted 41." You must mean 441. There's no way in the hell you got 41. Perhaps she said a number before 41 that we all just didn't hear, including the people there, because there is no way in the hell you counted just 41 people for Stephanie Wiedeman. No, you did not. No, ma'am. Did she mean to say 641? Because it looked like it was at least 600 people there. And they were deep. So, no, ma'am. There are too many videos that could easily be used in the event she tries to contest it, that can show how many people were there, how many hands were up. They had a voice vote for Stephanie, as well as a show of hands with a, it was like a little fan, I can't even think of the term. A little piece of paper, it was yellow paper in their hand. They had it up, and they were able to do 2 different types of votes in one vote. So aside from the voice vote, you also had the show of hands with the paper display. There's no way to deny that Stephanie won overwhelmingly, which is exactly how you all are going to have to beat out Super Stupid. It needs to be overwhelmingly. so that she can't go back, try to challenge and contest anything, and it needs to be laughable if she tries. Like, girl, you lost by 20%. You better get your ass on. Like, it needs to be laughable. That's how much space you all need to have between Jason House and the next candidate. That way, her loss will be just as epic, because there's no way in hell you came close. You didn't come close at all. You were nowhere near. So that's that wide margin you want to aim for every single time. You all need to vote when you go to Thornton and vote for Napoleon Harris. Make sure that, you know, that margin or that vote is overwhelmingly higher and significant. So what she can't challenge it, and if she tries, it's laughable and it's thrown out in court, as all her other cases have been. So, all right, let's keep it up.
It was a vote of the residents, and the people in the room for me outweighed the people in the room for her.
Now, her first tactic was to try and sue and say that what the Thornton Township did by having a caucus as opposed to a primary, she tried to sue and say that is illegal. So I want to let both of you answer this question. Is Mayor Tiffany Henyard really that ignorant of the law? And I think I know the question or the answer, but I want to give both of you the opportunity to answer it. Stephanie, I want you to answer it first. In your dealings with Tiffany Henyard, is she just so wantonly and abjectly ignorant of the law? Or do you think that she's getting bad counsel and perhaps that's the source of her hubris?
My personal opinion would be that she is not ignorant of the law. From where I sit, it would seem that she's comfortable moving the way she does because she doesn't take accountability for her actions. She blames other people. So I believe in her eyes, she's not going to have to take accountability for anything because she can point a finger all the time.
You really think she's that bold that she just thinks that there are not going to be any repercussions suffered for all of the malfeasance that she is guilty of, or that she allegedly is guilty of?
Yes, she is that bold.
I believe so. I believe she blames each person around her. She's picked a person from her team. They're each going to take the hit for something, and I believe she thinks it's going to get her off.
Yep. Kianna, you've worked more. Stephanie is new. She just got elected. Congratulations, by the way, on your election.
Thank you.
Kianna, you've been working more intimately with Mayor Henyard and for a longer period of time. Is it that she's ignorant of the law, or has she just insulated herself and created this echo chamber where she thinks that she won't be held accountable?
No, I don't think she's ignorant of the law. I think that she has the type of mentality is she'll just push the button. I'm going to see how far I can get.
Yep.
And she's been doing that, and nobody holds her accountable for her actions, so she keeps pushing and pushing. And even as Stephanie states, she always has someone around her that'll take the fall, or someone around that she can point the finger at. She said it plenty of times, even in a meeting where when the trustees were trying to put her on the bank account. No, I don't want my name on the bank. I don't want let somebody else be the
fall guy,
the front of her malfeasance. But I believe she knows exactly what she's doing.
I just find it so difficult to believe, just because some of the things that she's done have just been so abjectly important. Even doing I saw her. When she did an interview with Roland Martin on YouTube, and he asked her about when she had the one trustee meeting, and she was dressed up like Nino Brown, and her, just to hear her explain it and say, well, no, I wasn't dressed up like Nino Brown. I was dressed up like Martin because I'm trying to reach out to the kids. And when I hear her say that, I'm thinking, kids don't vote. What do you mean you're dressing up like Martin so you can reach out to the kids? But so yeah, maybe the kids like you, but all of the adults who have to vote for you, they don't like you. When we come back, we've got to take a quick break. I want to talk to both of you since we know she's not going to be on the ballot in Thornton. And I believe that the re-election for the mayor's position in the village is coming up this year in 2025. Is that right, Kianna?
Yes, February 25th, 2025. Early voting starts February 10th.
Quick break. Hold that thought, ladies. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, everybody. You're listening to the David Seaton Show. We'll be right back. Who love both of you. I've seen nothing but high fives and just glowing accolades for both of you. So again, congratulations. Both of you are obviously doing something right, and you have the support of your constituents. So again, congratulations to both of you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you, and we appreciate each and every one of them.
Yes, ma'am. So Kianna, let's get back to you. You just said the election for the mayor for the village of Dalton is going to be held on February the 25th. And you said early voting starts on February 10th.
That is correct.
So what do people have to do? Well, before we even go there, is there any polling out right now that we can kind of use as a harbinger of the outcome of this election? Do you think that Mayor Tiffany Henyard can get reelected in the village of Dalton?
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm going to say this because we make calls, we go door knocking, and we have an overwhelmingly amount of support. But you can't take that for granted because there are people that you call and they love her, regardless if it's something they've gotten for free or sometimes it's just mentality of people that feel like I pay this or whatever she's doing, it hasn't been done in all these times. And they're not looking at the long-term effects of the community. But we do have an overwhelming amount of support where people are saying, this girl got to go. This girl has to go. It's too much. It's so much negativity. You hate to pull out your ID and say Dalton, because the first thing they say, you down there with that mayor? It's just America.
Oh, man.
And you're really not overstating it at all. Tiffany Henyard has been covered nationally, and when I did my upload on YouTube, there were people who were commenting. I often get people who live in Europe, live in different countries in Europe, and they are following. There are two mayors, if no one else, that they are following. They are following Brandon Johnson, and they are following Tiffany Henyard. And Tiffany Henyard, the level of infamy that she has globally, people even outside of the United States cannot fathom just the level of malfeasance that this mayor has been, of which she has been accused, and a lot of it is irrefutable. Kianna, comment on how the police cars at one time for the village were about to get repossessed because she didn't pay the car bill, pay the auto note for the police cars for the village.
Yeah, she has been running this village like she probably runs her household. And it's not the same type of entity where it was like she had an open checkbook, and as much as we tried to stop, it was, people thought that we were just trying.
Crazy thing is, you don't see her really spend her own money. Like, you don't hear her even say that she spent her own money out of her own pocket. You never even hear her say that. You would think this narcissist that's out and she's so-called helping people and buying groceries and stuff. You've never heard her say, I spent this money out of my own pocket for this. Because wouldn't a narcissist want to be quick to take some credit for buying some shit? But she never says that. I have never heard her say, this came out of my pocket, out of my money, out of my personal bank account. This was not, I purchased this with my credit or debit card. Here's a receipt on this. She'll probably produce a receipt then. But she has never said she has bought anything or paid for anything out of her own pocket. So how she runs her house is the same as how she runs Mayor and Dalton and Thornton. She steals money and hustles and gets it from everybody else. She tries to get away with not paying rent. I mean, good Lord. Tried to get off of a lease agreement, but still lives there and admitted to it in that squabble that she had with Cleo, the dinosaur. So this is how she is. And she doesn't pay her own bills. So of course she doesn't care if she pays bills with tax dollars. That's not her money. She'll spend all y'all money first before she spends her own. God awful.
To attack her. And I said it before. But when you started seeing, oh my God, $43,000 in one day at Amazon being spent, $1.3 million for a skating rink that's bringing in absolutely no income to a community.
Did she buy the skating rink? Did she buy it?
She used taxpayer money.
And she bought it for the village?
She had it built. She had it built on
I
village
did a video
property.
on that
and
today.
In my eyesight, if you start building something on property and land that's not yours, it's called stealing to me.
Okay, I had heard the skating rink story before, but I didn't know it was built from. She took $1.3 million, went and hired some contractors and an architect and all that, and then built it from the ground up. So now the village owns an asset, I guess, of $1.3 million of a skating rink.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's what she did.
How does that happen?
She's a dingus.
I mean, obviously, because I've seen this in the news as well. And I'd like both of you to respond to this because, again, I want my listeners to understand the powers in the legislative and executive branches. When these bills come in, the village and or the township, you can just refuse to pay them if the executive did not go through the appropriate steps to get pre-approval for those expenses, correct?
Right, correct.
That is the appropriate way to do it. So we started removing vendors. We started taking them off. Then no, we're not paying that. It's not approved. So then she started using credit cards. She went to the bank and increased the credit limit on the credit card and started paying for the credit card. Well, of course, by the time it comes...
Why didn't the bank contact the village of Dalton to say, this heifer up in here trying to increase a credit card limit? What the hell going on? And why is she the only one listed on that account that can do that? Shouldn't there be someone else on the credit cards as well? Why is she the only one that is able to call in or go to wherever it is to increase the credit card limit? Why is she the sole person that's able to do that? So when when it comes down to it, he's asking good questions here because I think that's something that most people are just asking in general. How is she being allowed to do all of this stuff? Just like with trying to shut down Thornton Township. Why is she the one that's saying we're shutting it down? No, we're not. You're just not going to come here. How about that? You don't want to come to work? Keep your bum ass at home. But we're not shutting it down. Why does she have that damn... Why is no one... You don't see people like saying, no, we going to work tomorrow. We don't know what she's talking about. let her hang out there and dry on her own. We're shutting down. No, we're not. What you going to do about it? Because if you buck, hopefully they know to buck back and bring in the Illinois State Police to trump out your little police officers in Dalton and in Thornton Township. And there's more Illinois State police officers that have more power than the municipal law enforcement. They're not even going to even try to challenge the Illinois State Police if they got to come up in there. So if I were you all, no, we're not shutting down. We don't know where the hell she got that from. We're not doing that. And then override her ass. And in Thornton Township, she has no veto power. None. She has no veto power. So y'all just have to override her.
Us for approval for the electronic warrant list, they've already received the money. It has been a fiasco.
Crazy.
She went to the bank. How did she get the credit limit on the credit cards raised when I'm sure the bond rating for Dalton has gone down since she's been mayor? So what does she know? So she knows. Do you know what the bond rating is for Dalton is right now?
I do not know, but it's probably negative.
Yeah.
we can't get a loan probably anywhere, or if it is, it would be such high rate. It's sad. I'm sorry, David, because sometimes people don't realize that although we'll laugh about it, it is very sad for our community.
It's very sad. It's incredibly sad that Dalton has approximately has a population of about 20,000 people. When I looked it up, the average per capita household income in Dalton is less than $50,000. You're talking about a working class community of people with 20,000. And again, she's taking you from, like, I think you said it was a $3 million surplus to a $5 million deficit. So she spent $9 million, and it sounds like you just said 1.3 million of it is to build a skating rink, and she did it behind the backs of the trustees of the village.
That's absolutely correct.
Yep.
Stephanie, are you a Village of Dalton resident, or are you just in the township, obviously? But
I'm in the township. I live in the village of Thornton.
Okay. So she's not on the ballot. Let me ask both of you this question, because we're coming up on another break, and I think this is really, really important. The salary that she's getting as the supervisor of Thornton Township is like $225,000 a year, I think, and then she gets another $50,000 a year as the mayor of the village. So that's been discussed openly in the news that she's got a salary of $275,000, and if she doesn't win, if she's not reelected in the village,
it would be a travesty
because she's being removed from the ballot. I don't know that she can afford to remain the mayor of the village. I don't know how she's going to take a $225,000 hit in her salary. But I wanted to just
no one cares. She's going to get a job, regular job.
This woman is making a huge amount of money in both of these positions, and just again the alleged amount of money that she's taking while she's in these positions is, like I said, unfathomable. I want to hear when we come back who both of you believe is the best candidate for her positions. I'll let you speak about the person whom you believe is the best person to take over for the supervisor for Thornton Township, and then Kianna, I want to hear you comment on whom you think would be the best person to take her position as the mayor of the Village of Dalton. Everybody, we're going to take another quick break. You've got Chris Ornsby. He just posted "Watching from over the pond in Liverpool, England." Excellent interview with trustees.
Yes, this is international, y'all.
I'm telling you.
Global.
And this gentleman who's lived, and thank you for listening over there in Liverpool. If you're still listening right now, hey, when you get an opportunity, go to YouTube, look up the David Seaton Show.
I want all the LLC supporters in Germany, Norway, and Poland that are watching these videos, please give a shout out in the comment section so that the people of Dalton and Thornton can see that this has become a global phenomenon. She has people watching her dumbass all over the world. And you know what's so crazy? We as humanity, we're just prone to watching drama. We love it. We gravitate towards it. We report on it. We talk about it. We do commentary and videos on it. But see, here's the thing. It wouldn't have been possible had she not put herself out there. She put herself out there and acted like a clown and a buffoon more than 10 times in a week to start garnering this type of attention. And then to be so dismissive and then just be so narcissistic about it. Of course, you're going to start getting all eyes on you when you put yourself out there to have all eyes on you. She didn't have to do the dumb shit that she did, but she did it. So now we're holding you to the fire. You don't like it? Kick rocks and get your ass out of here. You know what? Make it easier for all of us and just go turn yourself into the FBI. That's it. Just turn yourself in.
There's a ton of content there on Tiffany Henyard and a lot of other topics that you're following over there. So thanks for participating. But guess what? That gentleman, he's not tuned in because he's necessarily, checking for David Seaton. People are interested in this story about Tiffany Henyard all over the world. Yep. Ladies, I know I asked you a question before we went to break, but I do want to pick up at least a couple of these calls because some of them have been holding for a while. We've got Cat Daddy online too. Cat Daddy, thanks for the call.
In England, Brazil.
First of all,
say
the
hello.
problem that Tiffany Henyard has, which is the same problem that Brandon Johnson has, is they don't want to accede to their legislature, because in bodies like the legislature always has oversight over the executive.
Yes.
I think that she is somewhat familiar with the law. She just doesn't want to obey it.
I think that's
asked her frequently, has she gotten any kind of advice from the Illinois Municipal League, which would deal with Dalton, and any advice from the township officials of Illinois? She claims she's read through the materials, but that seems to be it. She thinks that the world is just one great big place for her to go out and mess up in, and she got put in her place when she didn't get slated in that caucus because they keep incorrectly saying that she got knocked off the ballot. She never got to the ballot because no one nominated her to go on the ballot.
Absolutely.
She also got her place with Miss Wiedeman when they elected her instead of one of her flying monkeys on the township board of trustees, so she could go ahead and do to the township what she's been doing to the village of Dalton. And so you saying something?
No. I was like, hey, those are great points. Okay, Daddy, I appreciate the call. Let me. Okay, thanks for the call, Cat Daddy. Let me pick up James real quick. James, thanks for calling the David Seaton Show.
And I'd like to say good evening to my hometown of Chicago. I'm calling from the Mid-South of Mississippi and Memphis. And those two ladies that you have on, I'm not trying to throw out any advertising, but I had them on my show. And there's some remarkable women. When I covered this story, it was interesting to see the people that were involved in the beginning. Trustee Belcher, Trustee House, Ms. Wiedeman, Trustee WVON for what they're doing and allowing these ladies to come on, these honorable ladies to come on and probably give a little balance to what you had the other day.
Yeah, I appreciate that call. I appreciate that, brother. Like I said,
Dave, great show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that greatly. Kianna, if you, and I know it's probably inappropriate for me to ask you if you are endorsing someone as a sitting trustee, but is there a candidate who's running for mayor of Dalton with whom you would like or that you would prefer to work in the future?
Absolutely. Jason House, the clean house fleet. That is Jason House for mayor, Allison Keith for clerk, myself, I'm running for re-election, and Steve and Brittany Norwood, who's running for re-election.
Okay.
So we have a ticket. We have started with what we have right now, changing, moving things in a different direction, and we need to make sure that under the leadership of Jason House, we'll be able to bring Dalton, revitalize Dalton, and change the narrative of what's happening right now.
Kianna, I've been seeing this hashtag in Facebook the entire time that we've been doing this interview, and it says hashtag Clean House 2024. I didn't make. I'm sorry, 2025. I didn't make the connection until you just said that. I just been thinking it was Clean House, like get Tiffany out of there, Clean House.
Oh yeah, it's that too. It's a double entendre.
But house is capitalized, so I should have caught that. So yeah, everybody, the hashtag Dalton Rising and hashtag Clean House 2025 has been trending the entire show on the Facebook feed. Stephanie, again, I know you're a recently elected trustee, so I don't want you to have any conflict of interest, but is there someone specifically with whom you would prefer to work in the position of the Thornton Township Supervisor?
Yeah, absolutely. The township race is going to look a little bit different than Dalton. It's not until April 1st. There is no primary. That's what the caucus was for. So there's a Democratic ticket running, a Republican ticket running, a new party has a ticket that's running, and then an independent. So in the supervisor race, there will be 4 people running. I am supporting Napoleon Harris.
So she said basically that there's a Democratic ticket, Republican ticket, an independent ticket, and a new party. I don't know what that new party is, but I would assume that the new party might be Nate Fields. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's the independent. But the Republicans had a caucus as well. And here's my thing. Super Stupid did not take them to court and challenge them on their caucus that lasted all of 5 minutes. And I can say that because I reacted to it on my channel. I know it was very boring, but that's how politics and law, certain aspects of our lives are supposed to be. She's just bringing in all this drama and this nonsense to it. But at the end of the day, the caucus was 5 minutes long. They ran through the same procedural guidelines that they did at the Democratic caucus. They had a voting process. They had everything. They adopted the rules from start to finish. It may have lasted about 5 or 6 minutes. And there's nothing in state statute that says how long a caucus is supposed to last. It just says that it must start after 6 p.m. But other than that, it could be 5 minutes. It could be an hour. It doesn't matter. I would think that if you want to have it within reason. But why didn't she take the Republicans to court? See, this is the thing that bothers me. She wants to sit here and talk about being a black woman, but all she does is attack other black women or black people. At the end of the day, you lost. And you're not bonded, and you can't get insured, so you're not eligible. And if you really want to sit down and understand that, then you'll read a law too. If not, then you're just going to find out the hard way. Keep fucking around and find it out. Okay?
I think that,
I'm here to laugh at you.
Got a good business mind. He has strong leadership skills. He's been involved in our community pretty much his entire life. And I think he's aware of the task at hand to be able to not only fix the image, but the relationship with, the vendors, with the residents. There's been a lot more damage done than just what you see on the surface.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to take a very strong leader to figure out how to fix this up and move forward.
I'm so glad to hear both of you have identified someone at the very, very least. And I can, again, let me just say, the amount that you ladies have been lauded by your constituents in this Facebook feed, like I said, I can't even tell you the number of compliments that both of you have received. That said, I do want to bring up this one point and get both of your opinions on this. Before Tiffany Henyard ran for mayor, she ran a Good Burger. I believe it was at South Suburban
Oh, good
College.
Lord.
And when she ran that Good Burger,
Good Lord.
she lost the business and wasn't paying the rent. And, it was, I think if you go and you can go up and look up, I went to the Cyber Drive, Illinois, and I looked up the business. It's not even in good standing the last time that I checked. But, and then subsequent to that, it was either right before or right after that, she got arrested in the city of Chicago. I believe it was at 118th in Michigan. I believe that's where it was. Again, any of you who are listening to me, you can look up both of these facts. This is information that's documented. You can look up Tiffany Henyard and Good Burger. You can look up Tiffany Henyard and her arrest record, and you'll see her with that yellow.
Yeah, she got yellow
yellow tank top, and she's out here looking, crazy, breaking into cars. Here, what's my point? My point is that this is what this woman was doing before she ran for mayor. And just a scintilla of due diligence by someone, if you looked this woman up, you would have seen this information, like I said, out there, because before she ran for mayor, that was the only really public information that was out there about her. Question, I'll start with you, Stephanie. Given that that's the case, given that this is who this woman was before she became mayor, what does that tell voters, that how important it is to just do the most cursory research on someone before you vote for them? Tiffany Henyard's ascension just happened to coincide with the Me Too movement. So she ran on this, I'm going to be the youngest Black female mayor of the city of Dalton. And so everybody's been taken on a ride for the last 4 years, because ultimately I think everyone can conclude now she doesn't know what she's doing. But what advice would you give to the listeners out there, using Tiffany Henyard as the template to say, hey, you need to at least just do a Google search on someone before you vote for them, put them in charge of your village and or your municipality?
I would say that's great advice. A lot of times when residents are politically involved, I feel like their involvement goes into, attending board meetings, showing up at events, surface level, kind of meeting these elected officials. Previously, before Tiffany was mayor, had you watched these board meetings, you could definitely see that she was feisty. You could see that she had, a lot of questions. She pushed a lot, but it always seemed to be pro-residents because she was very against the mayor that was in place. She didn't like anything he was doing. She didn't like the way he treated the residents, the way he didn't include the board, and now we fast forward to a position where she's almost mimicking what she said she hated before. So sometimes it can be like a delusion when you look at a person sitting up there, but you seem to fight for what was right. But you're right. A simple Google search could have showed people that there were tendencies that you might not see looking for reviews of her sitting up there as a board member.
And I appreciate you positing it the way that you did, that she came across as this anti-establishment, fight for the people type of politician. But I can say unabashedly, she is the most disfluent, thick-tongued, poorly spoken.
You better.
And I'll just say it, ghetto politician that I ever remember seeing. And the fact that she positions herself or present her...
What is it? Wait a minute. Woo, that should be a meme, Lord. Hold on.
Disfluent, thick establishment.
Come on now, sir.
Politician. I can say unabashedly, she is the most disfluent, thick-tongued, poorly spoken, and I'll just say it, ghetto politician that I ever remember seeing, and the fact that she positions herself or has presented herself as the super mayor and the people's champion does not in any way negate everything that I just said about her and everything that I've observed about her since she's raised to national prominence. I can't think. I can barely listen to her speak. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I can't imagine. I feel so sorry for you, Kianna. All of the meetings, all of those trustee meetings where you have had to sit, 3 or 4 seats away from this woman and listen to her drone on in that, like I said, unintelligible, thick-tongued, disfluent manner in which she speaks. And I'm looking at
y'all, he's so, Lord have mercy, bless his heart. You about as traumatized as we are. Y'all, I'm trying my best not to jump up and go run around and do the holy dance or something. He just called it out like he see it. He said her speaking is like listening to the nails being ran down a chalkboard. Dear Lord. I love it. Bro, speak your mind. It's okay. We might all need a little therapy after this heifer is gone. Cause if you're not like, you gotta let it keep him crying. Otherwise, you're just gonna be crying all day. This is what happens when Earth opens up and allows a visitor from outer space to come and occupy our territory. We don't have time for this Ewok. What, Lord, he threw off a whole lot of adjectives that she would never be able to spell or define. I love it.
I didn't want you to start speaking, Kianna, and then
Yowza.
What your thoughts on what Stephanie just answered about what?
Yeah, all them words went over her head too.
I guarantee you,
She
there are
don't
going to be some people who are
understand
going to still
that.
vote for this woman. They're going to say, "Oh, she's just been railroaded," or "Oh, she cut my tree down." So I love me some Tiffany. As a matter of fact, we're going to take this last break, and then Kianna, I want you to answer that on the other side. I want, because this is about Tiffany Henyard, but this is instructive about politics in general. You should know something about the people for whom you vote. We're going to take our last break and come back with both trustees and let Kianna answer that question to people. What, Tiffany Henyard is also the liquor commissioner? Is that true?
That is true.
Yes.
That's part of the job as the president and mayor of our village. She's the liquor commissioner.
Good
That's
grief.
Okay, so
She has way too much power.
So this woman was the supervisor of Thornton Township. She was the mayor of the village of Dalton. She's the liquor commissioner. She has signing authority for business licenses, and she's been holding up people's business licenses. She was writing checks, and when the village, when the trustee said, "We're not going to allow you to write any more checks, and we're not going to approve any more invoices," then she took the credit card from the village, went down to the bank, got the credit limit raised on the credit card, and went out there and just spent the money anyway. And there's actually someone in the chat who put that obviously she's not going to be reelected as the Thornton Township supervisor because she's not on the ballot, but he went on to say that she's going to get reelected as the mayor of Dalton. If she gets reelected as the mayor of Dalton, shame on the residents of Dalton.
Thank you.
Trustee Kianna, please speak as we close this segment.
Thank you.
To just the minimum due diligence that voters need to do before you elect someone to represent you.
Well, and I'm going to say this, David. I've always been transparent, and I'm going to say people know that in 2021, when she became the mayor, I ran on her ticket. It was myself. It was Jason House. I was in Key. Kevin Bowen, who didn't make the election, win the election. But we felt that all of us had a collaborative knowledge to help her. So yes, she wasn't the best candidate, but it was the best of two or the best of three that we had. So we had to kind of pick and choose what we could work with. And we thought, and I'll just say, I'm very transparent to say, we thought that with our knowledge, we would be able to help her get through some of the hurdles that was had. She wasn't convicted. You know, people do have things that's going on in life. So, but due diligence of even when she was talking as a trustee, she was a trustee for 8 years, you would think that she perceived it as she was working in the benefit of the community. And maybe she was. The issue probably was she was doing what she did as the mayor. She was just doing what she wanted to do and wasn't following, and that may have caused the friction. So it definitely is, you have to come to a board meeting. You have to follow. You have to ask questions. Asking questions is a lot that goes into finding out who a person really is. Because when we started running, and I had to be with her every day in the midst of the campaign, I was like, oh boy, I think we got ourselves in a big problem. But it was too late. Yeah. So it's all about, you know, learning people, asking questions, and you're gonna have to ask those tough questions because you want to know the person that you're putting in this position, especially as the president and the executive of the community. They have to be able to be responsible and be able to work on behalf of the community and not themselves.
Trustee Kianna Belcher and Trustee Stephanie Wiedeman, thank both of you for coming on today. I do not envy either of you and the enormity of what it is that you're trying to navigate right now. But again, let me just say the final thing to everyone who's out there who's listening. Politics is local. We spend so much time talking about Donald Trump and what do we think he's going to do and this and this and that. But I guarantee you, the residents of Dalton have been far more impacted negatively by Mayor Tiffany Henyard than any president.
Yep.
Please believe me. And that goes for the residents of the village of Thornton as well. Ladies, I see Dr. Nikita is back on the line, so I'm going to let both of you go. I'm going to reach out to both of you also before when early voting starts around February 10th. And because I want to do everything I can to use my platform to prevent.
So I wanted to just end it there because that's when, you know, he's pretty much done talking with them. Here's the thing. He made a lot of fantastic points, and some of the points that I've made too. You know, hold your leaders accountable. Don't ever stop going out and seeking the truth and making sure that they, you know, keep the word that they ran on with their campaigns. And when things aren't adding up, that's where you have to even the more be adamant about holding them accountable. You know, hey, you got $40,000 on this warrant list here to Amazon. Where's the invoice for that? because you can't buy ice for a skating rink from Amazon. So those are the things that you can also, incorporate the idea and the aspect of researching and looking up the information. We live in an era with all this advanced technology. You guys are sitting in these meetings with your cell phones and stuff. Can somebody please look up if you can buy ice at the Amazon? Do it in real time. There's nothing wrong with that. You went the Wayfair. What you buy? Oh, when that video came out, somebody said Wayfair. Oh man, that's stuck in my head. But when you hear that stuff and she's sitting here trying to justify it because she can't do math, go ahead and say, yeah, Wayfair. So what did you buy at Wayfair again? Oh, well, I got this, that, and the third. I'm sorry, how does that go? What you get again? Because I want to see, I'm about to Google it right now to see if you could buy something like this at Wayfair. Like, those are the things that you should not be, ashamed of looking up and holding her accountable on. Hold her accountable to it and say, listen, you can't, nope, no ma'am, you can't buy this stuff at a Wayfair. That's not how it works. You can't buy ice for a skating rink on Amazon. That's not how it works. Nothing wrong with that. So, I always say, you guys make sure you look up information and research information. When it comes down to Napoleon and Jason House, make sure you guys challenge them and ask them about their policies and platform. How do you guys plan on getting Dalton out of this deficit? I'm sure going out and trying to get money to bring business back into the city is going to be part of that. But financially, how is this? Because you got to spend money to make money. That's kind of the sentiment that most people understand here. So how exactly are you guys going to be going out and getting money to come into the city? Aside from grants and loans that, hell, you might not be able to get a whole lot of right now. But exactly how is that going to kickstart off? And then talk about having to revamp that police department. Like, that's something that Jason House needs to seriously consider in Dalton. Revamp that police department. Don't let it go to the wayside and, not have the opportunity to say, we came in and we had to make some changes. We really want justice for Alexis and we want, justice for Fania. There has to be some changes made that are daring and bold and challenging, but it will restore faith in the community, between the police department, between the trustees, between the administration, and that people will feel a little bit more safe and comfortable living in their community. Because if you don't have people in the community, you don't have a community. Then what would be the purpose of having a mayor? You don't have a town. You can't mayor over anybody. There's no one to mayor over. There's no one to have as a supervisor over. No one lives here. So keeping the citizens, it's the first goal. Keeping them happy. Allowing them to have that faith restored. And, the police and people who are supposed to be serving in these positions to, protect them. That's something you don't want that to be. You don't want that to be lost in translation and then for that to be swept under the rug when the new administration can do something about it. I would personally hope that Jason House would strongly consider revamping that police department. And from the top down, you don't have a police chief right now. Perfect opportunity to start completely over. That's it. Some of those cops got to go. They're beyond hope for retraining. If they had anything to do with the shooting of Alexis Wilson, they got to go. Period. That's it. You got to go. We're not doing this. That's the first step. And just having never forget what you've gone through. That way you can prevent it from happening again in the future. Because you don't want to have to go through this again. Trust me, you do not want to have to go through this again where, you have to deal with someone that's about as bad or even worse than super stupid and make the mistake of getting too comfortable or complacent. There's always going to be some level of corruption somewhere. And I try my best to consider giving people grace even if they make a mistake or so. But don't let that mistake become habitual. Don't let them think that they have so much power to where they're beyond reproach. Don't be afraid to reel them in. Super Stupid want to sit here and try to shut down Thornton Township. No, we're not shutting down. Her dumb ass can sit here and say that all day. We're not doing that. And we're overriding you. That's it. The end. Then you keep living. Oh, we don't have insurance. No, you don't have insurance, heifer. We have insurance on this building. We took you off the insurance policy. You're uninsurable. We took you off. You got taken off. Because we don't have to keep you on it. Find a way to get her ass off the policy. She's the one that's uninsurable. These are the same narratives she keep throwing out there to fearmonger and to scare people. And because you have these older people stuck in their ways, they don't want to look up information. And they just think, oh, having chitterlings delivered to my house and playing bingo, it's a sign of someone that's being a great leader. When their property taxes are going up, when the cost of living is going up, when you don't have businesses flowing and flourishing through Dalton and Thornton Township. Property taxes are going up while the property value is going down because you got houses boarded up. People are not going to want to buy a house in an area where you have at least 6 houses on one block boarded up. They're going to be like, what the hell's going on here? Everybody evacuate? Did I miss something? People are not going to want to put money into a community if they see it's beyond reproach. It's not salvageable. So having these people, and it kills me because you have these older people that understand what it's like to struggle and to be in a hardship as a people and as a race after what black people gone through in the U.S. between slavery and Jim Crow and being black, the Black Panther movement being killed off, like all these things that have happened that are part of our history. Can't change the history. But you can keep it from getting to a point where we're reliving it again. All because now you got some ignorant ass black heifer that sits around here talking about I'm a single mom with power. Treating her own people like shit. Want to see her talk about how, I hate when a man sits here and tells me I can't do so. Why she keeps nothing but men around her? How the hell that makes sense? So the older generation that are sitting here talking about how great she is, ask them, would she pay your rent or your mortgage if you needed it paid? Does she buy your food? Does she pay your utilities? Super Stupid, paying it out of her pocket. Is she paying your bills? Does she take care of you? If you needed help, could you call her right now and have her pay your mortgage? Or to pay your utility bills, your light bill, your gas, your water bill. If you called her right now and said, I need you to buy me $500 worth of groceries or I just need groceries in general. Can you buy me some groceries? Without having to go through the board, I don't want tax dollars used for it, but I just need some help. And, I've been supporting you and this, that, and the third, and I've been taking up for you and defending you. Call her and see if she'll buy your ass some groceries on the spot. Let's see where that go. That's the stuff that you can just challenge these people with. Young or old, I don't care. Because you have some people who are older in age and still foolish in their mindset. No wisdom up there at all. Or they allow a couple little things to somehow bamboozle them to have them think that this person is so great. But yet, if you challenge them on those other issues, with Super Stupid Tiffany here, you pay your rent or mortgage right now if you called her. Ask that same supporter. Ask them that. Where you living at? So you have enough money to pay all your bills and stuff. So if you ever needed her to pay your bills and buy you some groceries, would she drop everything she's doing and go to the store and buy you some groceries out of her pocket? What's the likelihood of her doing that to you? Call her right now. I will challenge them on that. Call him right now. Put him on the spot. Call him right now and see if she's going to pay your rent or your mortgage. Go ahead. I'll wait. Call her. Half of them wouldn't even know how to get in touch with that damn girl. That's the foolishness of it all. So, I think it's unacceptable no matter who it's coming from. At the end of the day, the little 50 people she got that are just stuck in whatever alternate universe they're all in it, somehow believing that she's so great. Trust me when I tell you all, if it came down to it and she ever needed to do anything for these people, Those same supporters she went and picked up, had them out in the cold on buses that she was not authorized to use. They don't care about none of that. Right is right, but wrong is wrong. Doesn't matter if it's the person that you like doing the wrong, it's still wrong. Older in age, but foolish in their minds. Go out there and ask those same people to call her on the spot and see if she'll come over there and pay their bills for them and buy food for them. That's not tax dollars. That's not food from that food pantry that might be left after Keith Hamburglar has ate it all up. Y'all know he lives in the dungeons of McDonald's. Come on now. Anyway. Woo, no, I can just go on a whole roast session by him and sleep peacefully. It wouldn't even bother me. But this is all I have. This was a great interview, great dialogue and discussion. I do wish that he would have asked about the policies and some of the platforms, points that they're trying to implement and put into place. But like I said, if you guys have anything on that, email it to me and I'll report on it. I sure will. Because you need to know exactly what these people are going to be doing for you in your community. That's going to last longer than Super Stupid and all of our reporting. At some point, that might fade away. But you all still have to live there. And you have to live with the people that you've elected and put this faith and trust into to make the decisions that's in your best interest. And you want to continue on with that. Never ever forget, Super Stupid Tiffany Henyard was a thing. And you do not want your town, your village, to get to that point where you end up facing the same thing, or if not worse, than what you had is Super Stupid. All right, so check out the other content on the channel. Super Stupid has a whole playlist on my channel, because she does. Because you choose to act like a moron, I'm going to keep reporting on you and talk about it. So there's a whole playlist of Super Stupid on my channel. So check out all the videos and the content there. It's equally as funny. And hit the like button. Subscribe if you're enjoying what we're doing here in the LLC. We have fun here. All right. And I'm just, just carefree with it all. This has been a lengthy one, but it's worth it. Because the other one, that squabble was like almost 2 hours. And then I had to do some debunking at the end of the video. So the information about the FBI, the scope of investigation, the information that they subpoenaed, the organizations they were going after. All of that is at the end of that video. So if you just want to get to the end where you get to check out the debunking with the facts and evidence that, I was able to find and pull up online and information that I was able to gather, you can just, because many of us have seen the squabble between Super Stupid and Barney the dinosaur. So at the end of the day, you can skip to the end of that where the debunking information is. And get some insight on that stuff and how the scope of the FBI investigation is going. They're not investigating everybody in Dalton. That's not the scope. They would have had all those trustees listed on the subpoena. They're not on there. Keith Freeman was the only person listed on there as the individual. Not in his official capacity, in his personal capacity. Because he had some ties or some connections between himself and a business that had a business ID number or EIN affiliated with the village of Dalton. So a lot of conflict of interest in all of that. But either way, you guys make sure you check the content out. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and until the next one, Lady Luck out. Peace.